welcome to another construction video. So this one is for the Time for Tea die set from Tonic. There is two coming out together in this release. There's the Time for Tea one, which has the teapot and a teacup inside it, and there's also the other set, which is called Cute Cupcakes. I'm only going to show you the construction for the teapot and the teacup. However, I don't really need to show you because on the back of the inside portion of the packaging, it actually has the step-by-steps of how to make it. But I know some of you like to have a video to show you how to make something, and I haven't put this one together yet, so I thought I would do this video whilst, you know, I'm constructing this one. I have only put like two together, so but they're really easy to put together. I'll show you this one that I've made before. I will be doing an up-close video. I'll film it after I filmed this one, so I've got the other teapot to show you. But I think this is such a cool like gift idea as well. I mean, it's obviously you can use it as a pot to put like bits and pieces in, maybe in your sewing room or your craft room, bung like extra die cuts, buttons, those kind of things inside it. Or I'm going to do this for my nan. I'm going to make her one, get a miniature bottle of whiskey because she really likes whiskey, put it inside and then surround it with chocolates as a gift for her. So I thought that would be a really neat idea. Also just like fill it full of chocolates. You could maybe put even tea bags inside it, like buy a box of like Twinings individually wrapped tea bags and fill it full of them. That would be a really cool idea. Or even loose tea. If you've got a nice bag of loose tea, you could probably fit that inside here as well. Or biscuits. I'm sure biscuits would go in. Handmade biscuits inside a teapot would look amazing. Although my mum knitted this little fellow to go in it. So he's a little dormouse, you know, like in Alice in Wonderland, where there's the little dopey dormouse inside the teapot. My idea behind this one was to have him like sitting inside the teapot, and then he can rest, or you can he holds on to the side of it. He's got pipe cleaners in his hands, so he holds on, and then you can rest the lid on his head. So it's kind of like a home decor piece then. It just creates something nice to have on your shelf. And you can obviously make the teacup to match, and I haven't finished this yet, but the way I made it match was on these pieces you have panels that have gaps in them. They actually cut out details, but there isn't one that's sort of a geometric pattern for the teacup. There's only the rose design, or one that debosses in, so I decided to cut all of the panels from the solid colour of card and then put a piece of 3mm red liner tape and use the same glitter that I'd used on the teapot to give that a matching look. And I'm making this one into a pincushion. So you gather up a circle of fabric, and I got Mum to do it for me, and she's put a button on the bottom, so you could leave it so that this comes out, or you could stick it in as well. And it's just like a cute little pincushion, and I'm thinking of pinning on some buttons possibly to the top, maybe just sticking them on the saucer down the bottom. Then I've also wound some gold thread around a small little cotton reel, and I'm thinking I'm going to stick that down here. And then I've got a little piece of this like tape measure sort of ribbon, and I was just going to bunch that up down there as well to really show that that is something to do with sewing and it's a little pincushion. So I just thought that was a really cool way of using it, because in the past, Mum has actually made real teacups into pincushions, so I thought actually using this 3D like card teacup as a pincushion would be a really cool idea as well. So I haven't quite finished that yet, but I just wanted to show you those at the beginning. Now I've got to find somewhere to put them. And you can also, when I move these out of the way, I will show you. You can also extend the teapot. So instead of using the handles and the spout on it, you can have two handles on it. And this section is double the height in the middle. And the way I did that was I just cut this portion again and stuck them to each other. And then I've used a panel, I just cut that on my paper trimmer to cover that over. And I've also used crackle paste behind an aperture from a flower die that you get in the die set as well. I'll probably go over these again in my up-close video, but I thought I'd just show you the cool things that you can create with this gorgeous die set. and I decorated this one using lots of different Nouveau embellishment mousses and obviously the crackle mousse. I was going for an aged kind of copper pot because this was just white cardstock, and I used a light, let me give you the actual colour. I actually took this pot, scooped some of the mousse into it, mixed it with water so that I could just paint straight with it, and the colour is Soft Truffle. It came in the Woodland Walk colour trend, this one, and then I went back over when all of that was dry and added some fresh copper mousse onto that, and then to give it even more of like a rusticy or rusty patinery kind of a look, I came back in with some sea spray green as well, just to add some little sort of green touches to it. So that's how I got that sort of aged look on the pot as well. But again, I will go through these again in the up close video. This is supposed to just be a construction video. So this is the die set, and these are the dies, but again I'll show you that in the up close video. And this video is supposed to just be the construction. So as I said before, all of the construction is on the inside of the packaging, behind the piece that all the dies are stuck to. But I know a lot of you like to see videos of construction, and you know, if you don't keep your dies in their original packaging, or you didn't realise that was on there and you chucked it away, this is just a reference for you, so you can easily put it together still as well. So we will do the teacup first. So I've already decorated all of this. This is a green teacup and teapot that will match each other, and I sort of mixed like the dark and light colour. So the teapot is, the teacup is mostly the light green and the teapot is mostly the dark green, just so they look like they go together and are a pair. So let's start with the saucer for the teacup, and you can leave the saucer and the teacup separate if you want to as well. I did actually stick mine together. I just used a bit of foam tape and then pressed them together like that. So for the saucer of the teacup, you can see here I've added some, what's this colour called? Regency green vintage drops to the little scalloped areas on this, but you can see I've missed two here and one over here because that's how you stick it together. On one side you overlap two of the scallops, and on the other side you overlap one, and that gives it that slight curved effect to give that kind of saucer look to the design. So we just want to add a little bit of glue behind these two first scallops here, and we just want to line that up over the top, make sure the glue's catching, and then the same on the other side, but just with the one scallop this time. And again, we want to do this so it kind of curves inwards. So that is the basis of the saucer, and you can kind of see how it's curving up slightly. And then the bottom of the saucer is this weird looking piece with all the bits cut into it, and you just want to mould this around the bottom. So I did do this to begin with. I just carefully like dented those tabs backwards, so I'm keeping the professional side towards me and denting them upwards like this. Then I turned it over and put a little dab of glue on each of those little tabs, because this is what's going to stick to the outside of the bottom, and then this will be the interior base. And you can do this a different colour. I think, did I do the other one a different colour? Yes, I did. So this one, you can't really see it on there, but I did actually use a different coloured piece, so you can mix and match that as much as you want as well. And I think this adding the Nouveau drops to the scalloped areas really gives it some extra detail as well. Kind of wish I'd done that on the other one, but I can't do it now because once you've put it together they're on a slope and the drops will kind of slip around. So all you do is place it on the back, and then just make sure when you're looking from the front you can't see any of the little glue tabs around, and then all you're doing is like pressing this together, so you're getting all the little glue tabs to stick to the back of the saucer. And then that's how easy the saucer is to make. And you could also use this for other projects and stuff as well. Like that kind of looks like the start of some kind of flower that you could put on something, or maybe you like making resin pieces, or maybe those artist trading coins, you could like mount an artist trading coin in the centre of this kind of thing and have it as a home decor kind of piece as well. So that is the saucer. And then to make the teacup, oh yeah, so for the saucer you need 2 of those half circles and then that funny looking piece. Then for the teacup you need 4 of these, all decorated with the panels. And then you're going to need 1 of each way of the handle, and I love that you get both sides of the handle, because usually they give you one and then you have to use the unprofessional edge of the other one to, you know, to double it up, the thickness, but you actually get both sides. And the same with the teapot, and with the handle and the spout of the teapot too. You get both sides, which is brilliant, and they also look like ears kind of as well, which is funny. Anyway, you need 1 of each of those. Then you also need 2 of the octagons, because that's going to be the bottom of the teacup, and we're going to sandwich these glue tabs in between them to give it a nice neat finish. And then I have also been doing this. I just cut 4 of the tabs out the same colour as this, because these are in 2 panel sections. This is going to stick to another piece, but if you have one of these you can just sort of disguise that kind of join on the inside of the cup. I'll show you when I get to that part, but that's how I've been doing it. I've only made one, but that's how I did it on the other one. So first of all you want to stick all of these together, just the usual way of adding your 3mm is the best for this one, because they've got, well, I've used 6mm down here, but 3mm for the side panels because they're only about a 4mm tab. And it's just the usual way of lining the previous cut line up with the score line of the next one. So you just want to get all 4 of those together. If you're a big fan of Tonic's Dimensions dies, you should find all of the sets really easy to put together, because it's a lot of the same kind of methods really of how you get things to go together really nicely, which is really good. So last one, and then I want to bring that round so that it all sticks together and you can see that teacup shape coming to life. Then we want to put the bottom of the teacup on. So the way I've been doing this, or the way I did it on the other one, I have put double-sided adhesive on the bottom of one of the hexagons and not on the other, or the octagons, because this octagon is going to go on the bottom and cover up the glue tabs on the bottom of the cup, and then I'm going to put this one on the inside so that it looks really neat once it's all stuck together. So I've just been taking all of these off. If you push from underneath, it's a little bit easier. And it doesn't matter if any of this adhesive is hanging out of the edges. You don't have to actually cut it to the size of the tab because we're going to cover up any exposed adhesive. So we just want to take all of those off. Now the last one's being annoying. Okay, so we've got all the tape off, and then the way I do it is I pick one point to start at, so I'm going to just start here, and I'm going to press that first side onto the bottom tab, so that is now stuck on there, and then you just want to keep going around, and then you just sort of pull it into shape. If it's not quite matching, you just kind of pull it, and then it starts to all fit together absolutely perfectly. And then you've got the last few to do. There we go, that's on perfectly. And then to hide that little pattern that's appeared on the inside because of all the glue tabs, we're just going to stick the other one on. And I like to put red liner tape on there so it's going to stay really well stuck. But because we're trying to get this inside, and that's exactly the same sized piece, I'm going to put wet glue on here as well, just so that if it does start to stick in the wrong place, we've got a few seconds to sort of move it and get it in the right place. So, whoops, see, if you drop it like that. So You can poke it with your scissors or a pokey tool as well if you want to try and manoeuvre it around. There we go. So that's down in the right place, and then you just want to press from the top and the bottom to get it to stick. So that is the teacup, and then you can see here along the side, this is what I mean, or you get this glue tab inside, so I just want to hide them a little bit because obviously you only get it on the every second one, so I've just been only using 4 of these just to cover up those tabs. You can do all 8 of the inside if you want, but it depends how fed up you get with the die cutting, because you also need 8 panels for the outside as well. So I've just been lining that on the inside, and it just kind of disguises the glue tab. I think it just looks better than just having that little, so you can see, I don't know if it's going to really focus, that's what it normally looks like, and then adding the panel on, I just think it looks nicer than just having that glue tab there. Okay, so that is the neat inside now, and then all we need to do is, well, we've got the saucer already made, which I am going to stick that to it, because sending these in the post to Tonic, you know, they might get separated, and I don't want them to lose each other. So to get the handle on, you want to take both sides of the handle, and the way I've been doing it is gluing the main portion together, not the little glue tabs yet, but just gluing these portions together, and then just lining them up. So now you have the perfect finish on both sides, and then I've been leaving, not quite lined up, leaving these 2 glue tabs like this for now. So I haven't stuck those yet, because that is how the handle attaches onto your little cup. And you can pick whichever side of the cup you want to add it to. And then to make sure that that is extra strong, I have just been using a little bit of red liner tape. So I've just been using a little bit of 6mm red liner tape, and just placing like a square of it on there and trimming off the excess. Because you want that to be nice and strong, because obviously it looks like a teacup, so someone's probably going to pick it up like it is a real teacup, and so you don't want the handle to drop off when they pick it up. So I just fold the extra little bits in if there's anything overlapping, pick whichever side you want to put it on, and then you just want to try and get it centered, like up and down and side to side. So that looks about right. It fits like that on the panel. And then you just want to press that in place. And then there you go. You got your little handle on your little cup. So that is how the cup goes together. And the way I stuck the other one together, I just took some really low profile foam tape. This is like a 1mm depth one, and then I just stuck 2 pieces on the bottom. So I suppose in this case, if you're sticking them together, it doesn't really matter if the bottom is neat or not. And then the way I was doing it, I think I did it that way. So because you use 2 scallops on one side and one on the other, one of this scallop portion is bigger. So I've been putting that piece towards me, so that, you know, if you're looking at the front side of the teacup, you're seeing more of the complete scalloped piece, if that makes any sense. And then obviously you could add sweets in this, you could add like potpourri in it, you could, what else could you put in it? well, tea bags as well. If you had some like really expensive kind of tea, you could just gift some of that in here. You could even make up a little hot chocolate set and give it in this as well. I think they'd look really nice with cellophane over the top of them, and then bunch it up around here and have them full of sweets or chocolates or, you know, whatever you want to really. But I really love them. I've been really enjoying making these. Like, I've spent like 3 days on them because I've just been really enjoying putting them all together and stuff. So I'll now do the teapot as well. Okay, so now we've got the teapot to make, and I should probably run through all the pieces that you need. It is on the back of the packaging, but so for the lid of the teapot, you need 2 of this piece, and this hole cuts out in the middle because this is the handle for the teapot, and that goes into that hole. It's very similar to the rotating memoirs die set and the knobs that go on the end of that. It's a very similar, but it's obviously a lot smaller to go on the top of the teapot. So you need 2 of those and 1 of these for the lid of the teapot. You need, oh, where's my other spout gone? Okay, well, I've lost the other spout at the moment, but I'll have to find that. So you need 2 of the spouts, 1 in each direction, because you get both of them. You also need 1 in each direction of the handle as well, and you also need 2 of these little rectangle pieces, which is how you get the 3D-ness of the spout. Then, for the main base of the teapot, you need 2 of these. So this is this shape, because that gives you your 8-sided teapot, and then you also need 4 of this piece, and that gives you the 8 sides for building up the top of the teapot. And then this is the lip where the lid fits on. I'm just going to find the other spout of my teapot though, because I'm not sure where it's gone. I found it. I've got so much on my desk it just slid off. Anyway, so how to make the teapot. So let's start with the lid, actually. The lid is really, well, it's all really easy to put together. All Tonic's construction dies are really simple to put together, and once you put together one, you know exactly how to do the rest of them. So, for this one, you want to add 3mm tape on all of these side panels, and then on the other one, same on all of these side panels, but you also want to add it to the octagon piece, because these two are going to stick together. You do also have these little tabs here which build up the side of the lid, but I've just been using wet glue for those because they're so tiny. I think wet glue is much easier, and then I've been pegging it so that it dries really nicely. So to get these two, or the whole lid to sort of come together, I've just been putting 4 little bits of tape on and then adding a little bit of glue on there as well. And then all you do is just line them up on top of each other, and then that's going to create the whole lid portion for you. I think it's just so clever the way they do this, that they think about how to sort of break it down so you don't have to buy like this kind of size of die plus this size of die. You know, that would make it so much more expensive if you had to buy this in a whole piece together. Plus I'm not sure if it would even fit on an A4 piece of card as well, but I really love the way they break it down so that you're getting the best value for your money with all of the dies in the set. So, because I mean they could have made these all actual, you know, the actual kind of size of die, but then they probably would have had to shrunk the teapot down, and you know, I'd rather get a slightly bigger teapot and have to cut things a couple of times to get it to all go together. So anyway, you want to take the tape off of these little tabs. I kind of do like two or 3 at a time, and then all you're going to do is just stick them together. So you just line up the cut edge of this one with the edge of the fold of the previous one, and then you can start to see that shape forming that's going to give you the shape of the lid of the teapot. So let's take a couple more off, or we can do 3 more. One didn't come off. Okay, so again we're just doing that cut line up to the fold line, and you're getting the shape, and then the final 3. Okay, so you now have that, which is the basic, well, that looks really good with the foil behind those flowers. So that's the basic shape. Oh, another good thing that I haven't said about all these panels, you know, in some of the previous Tonic die sets, when you have panels like this, you have to cut the outside and then you have to cut the pattern into that to get the patterned panel. Well, they are now complete dies, which I find so much more helpful. So literally that top piece that has the rose out of it, that's just one die. You just cut that and you get that little panel. Same with the side pieces, and you also have pieces for the bottom piece and this piece too, but I haven't used them on this one. But yeah, they're all just cut in one go. So does this rose actually. It hasn't got that verso edge, it's just a one die. So I really like that they've done that as well. So then to finish the rest of the lid, which box was it? Was it the Venetian Amphora? Yeah, I think it was that one. It's the same kind of idea, that this is going to fold down and give you a straight edge, which gives you the nice lip to the top of the lid. So the way I was doing that, I was just gluing like half of the tabs at once. So you just put a tiny bit of glue on these little sort of semicircle tabs that are here. Let's just do 4 first, and then we'll do the other 4. And then I've been using little pegs to keep everything in place, just these little wooden ones. So let's go back to the first one. So we just want to fold that over, and if any glue squidges out, you can just sort of wipe it off whilst it's still wet, and then put a peg on there to hold that nicely in place, and then go with the next one. Oh, that shifted. Again, you can just wipe any excess glue that squidges out. And then next one. And this is the same way that we're going to finish the top of the teapot as well. I like to do it with wet glue and little pegs, because I think it's going to hold up better over time, having the wet glue and then making sure it's completely dry by pegging it as well. So we've done half the lid, so we just want to add a tiny bit of glue to the remaining 4 little tabs. You don't want to add too much, because obviously you just saw it was squidging out, but you want to add enough so that it's going to be nice and strong. Okay, and then pull that down, wipe the glue off, and peg it in place. This video is going to be quite long. I thought it was going to be quite a long construction, that's why I didn't put it at the end of my up close video. So this one will just be construction. Sometimes I do add the construction onto the end of the up close, but I won't in this case, because otherwise it'll be a really long video. So that is the basic of the lid of the teapot. Now we need the handle for the lid. Where's my pin gone? So for the handle of the lid, that's blocked with glue, you want this piece, which I've already added all my 3mm tape onto, because otherwise it will drive you mad just watching me fiddle with tape. And I've also pre-scored it as well, because I think that helps a lot with getting it to go together really easily. So again with this, I take like 2 or 3, sometimes 4 off at a time. I'll do 2 first. And you want to fold, well actually it doesn't really matter if that glue's overlapping. And then again you want to do that cut line to the previous fold line. And if you had the rotating memoir, it's exactly the same but a smaller scale to that. So let's take the next 3 off. I just use scissors to get the back of my tape off, because I find it easier than trying to use tweezers or anything. And then same thing, you're just pulling that cut one to the previous folded one. Sorry if anything goes out of frame or it's not in focus. It is quite difficult to put something together neatly and try and show the camera what you're doing. And then the final three. You get the idea though, because there's like 8 of these, so it's kind of repetitive. 8 panels, I mean, not that you have to make 8 of these. So that is the main portion put together. It looks really sweet. You could probably use this for other things as well, like, you know, maybe if you have a doll's house or something, that could be like a little drum. You could wrap string around it. It looked like one of those old wooden kind of drums. Anyway, so you now want to attach this onto the lid, and the way you do that is similar to how you would add the washers on the rotating memoir. You just push it through into there, and then you can see now inside you've got the glue, or the tape on the outside of the little tabs, and you can see that they're ready to be folded. So how I was doing it, I found this the easiest way, is to take off like 2 opposite pieces of tape. So you've got exposed glue tabs on opposite sides, and then get those 2 situated in place. Then it's holding it in place for you, and then you can take off the tape from all of the others. I just found that was the easiest way. And I also did the first one I added the handle on before I like domed up the lid, and then the second one I did, which is the purple teapot, I did it this way, and I found this way was a little bit easier. But I'm sure when you watch the shows on Create and Craft that Jodie will tell you all of her tips as well of how she got the best results. So that is as easy to add the lid in. So that is or add the handle onto the lid. You can also decorate the handle as well. I might do that, but I just wanted to get this video filmed for you whilst there's still daylight. So that is the lid for the teapot. Then we need to build the actual main teapot as well. So you can see that the construction isn't that difficult. It's a bit time consuming, and especially with all the die cutting it's quite time consuming, but I just think it's so lovely to be able to take some sheets of cardstock and then build them into a teapot. It's crazy, and I think people would be really impressed by them as presents. I mean, especially if you give them a teapot full of chocolates rather than just a box of chocolates, you know? Having it in a cool box that you've actually made yourself, I think it's really cool. So, for the main base of the teapot, I have just stuck, so I've put 3mm tape on all of the tabs that you can see, even these top ones, and then obviously I've pre-folded everything, and then I've put red liner tape on the top of one of these bases, because the 2 bases go together, and that's how you get all 8 sides on the base of your teapot. So you want to line this up. And also, if this is the first time you're making it, you can not take that tape off and line them up to make sure you know exactly how they go together, you know, before you've taken the backing tape off and then you're stuck with it in the wrong position or something. So that is the first part of the teapot, and we want to construct this first before we put the next bit on. That's how I found is the easiest way. There might be other ways to do it, but I've just found that this is the easiest way. So you want to take the backing tape off. I've just been doing I'll probably do 2 panels and then 3 and then 3 again. So you want to bring these 2 together again with the cut line of one to the fold line of the other, and then you're folding it at 2 different angles to get that sideways and then straight upwards kind of angle on it. And I just think it's so clever the way all of these die sets work. Like, the engineering behind them is crazy. I can't wait to see what Tonic bring out next after these, actually. I was amazed by the roller decks, and then we got a teapot, and I was like, wow. Okay. So then we just want to do exactly the same thing. Kind of repetitive for you to watch because there's 8 glue tabs on everything. But it's so simple to put together. It's seriously the most time-consuming bit is the die cutting, and the hardest bit is probably deciding which panels to die cut to decorate it with. Oh, and actually, the opening in the top of this, when I finished it, I'll show you, is big enough to get your hand in. So if you did want to, like, say your first one, you want to try it out and make it first before you've spent the time to decorate it to make sure you can put it together right. But then maybe you've successfully put it together and then you think, I want to decorate that now. You could still add your panels on afterwards, because you can still get your hand in the top to be able to press them from the inside, which I think is a really good feature of this die set as well. Plus it means you can get quite a lot of good stuff in there if you can get your hand inside it right to the bottom. So that is the main base of the teapot, and it kind of looks like just a nice little bowl as well. Or maybe on your shelves, maybe you have like different ornaments and stuff, but you want things to be raised up at different heights. You could make these as like little plinths to go on your shelf to raise your ornaments up at different heights as well. That's another use just for the bottom portion of this. So then the next piece, or the next portion to play with, how did I do this? Yes, I put all of these pieces together first for this one. So you need all 4 of these, and you just want to take the tape off of the tabs that go here, and we will do the final neck of it afterwards, because I've been doing that with wet glue, just so you get a really secure finish. So you just want to start building all 8 of these around, and it will bring itself around into an octagonal shape for you as well. I've just, because there isn't a rose panel that fits on this top portion and I wanted to keep it all the rose design, you could use the spotty one or the stripy one or the plain one, but I just decided to use the rose to decorate it, and I did it alternating mirror card and the lighter green card so that it all goes with the rest of the colour theme on the teapot as well. Okay, and then the last one just brings it round to here. So that is the top portion for the teapot, and you can see how you can easily get your hand through that. So it, that's how you can get inside it afterwards. And then we want to stick this to the top. Jodie might show you a different way of putting this together, but this is just the way I decided to put it together, and it worked well for me. So what I've been doing is, so on the side of this, you have this tab which folds, I've folded it downwards, and this tab I've not used the score line. I'm using the score line as a guide when I stick this together. So I haven't actually folded the score line, I'm just using it as a guide for when I stick this one on top. So what you want to do is take a couple of the glue tabs off, and then take the top portion and line it up with that glue tab, and line it up with that score line and press it in place, and then you can see this folded corner goes really nicely over the side of the box, and then the next one has the slit from where the 2 have joined, and then that meets perfectly the other end. So that's how you start to join it on, and I think I just did it 2 at a time on both the ones that I have built. Oh, and if you wanted to do this one, so you see here, you can see the height difference. This is just double the height because I cut extra of these pieces, snipped that off, and then stuck this bottom edge to that flap, and then stuck this onto the next one that I'd put on top of it. So that's how I extended the height of this one to make it a bit taller. You could do it even taller than that if you wanted to. I think that would look really nice as well. So let's take another one off, and then you just want to line that panel and make sure that this score line is in line with the one on the base of the pot as well, so they're going to line up really nicely. And then I'm going to take the last 4 off just in case it's a little bit difficult to get in to take the backing off of the tape for the last few. Just fold that piece of tape in. Okay, so then we want to just do the same thing again. Just get the last few sides onto the top of the teapot. Okay, so that is the main base of the teapot, and you can see you can get your hand in, so if you hadn't stuck these panels or the bottom panels, you can press from the inside and still like decorate it afterwards if you want to. Then for the top of the teapot, I did the same thing as I did for the lid, with obviously adding the glue to the glue tabs. So I want to fold all of the glue tabs so they're on the inside of the teapot, and just I'm pulling them in towards the teapot so they're all poking inwards now, which makes it much easier to get a little dab of glue on each of them. So you just want to go through and put a little bit of glue. You might as well do them all. Okay, that's all of them. And then you want to add your little pegs once you've joined them together. So you just want to pinch that to get the glue to hold, and then put your little peg on, just as we did on the lid of the teapot, and then you can wipe away any glue if it splurges out. And you just repeat it all the way around the teapot. And then the last one. And then I just leave that to dry for like 5 or 10 minutes. Like, this is going to be perfectly fine now, so we can take the pegs off of this one. And then I'll show you how to finish up the spout and the handle for the teapot as well. So you can press the tabs from the inside as well to make sure they're properly stuck, and then that is the lid for the teapot, which will go on there once those pegs are off. And then to create the spout and the handle is exactly the same as the one for the teacup. So I have just been gluing these two portions together, and not the glue tabs yet, just gluing them back to back. I do really love that they gave you both ways of the handle, so you haven't got to you know, only have one good side of your teapot or your teacup. Either side will be good of both the handle and the spout as well, which is brilliant. So we can just leave that until it's dried. And then the actual spout of the teapot, so you can see here I've layered them up with the pretty pattern and card and stuff, and I actually have the professional edge on the inside. Because I was putting these layers on the outside, I just used the opposite one so that you got the pretty, or the, you know, the professional sort of debossed or embossed edge on the inside this time. But you don't have to do that if you're just using a single layer of card. And then you have these big tabs on the back of them. One of the tabs is what you're going to use to partly construct the spout, and the other one is what you're going to use to stick it to the teapot. So if we stick one of these together to start building the spout, you just want to line both those tabs up, and that gives you the perfect distance for the spout. And then these two extra pieces, you need two of these. Where's the other one gone? They were here just now. Oh, it's over here. Okay, so you need two of these, and I've put 3mm red liner tape on both sides, and one of them is going to line up with the top of the spout. So if you go with this back edge here and just line that up against the straight of the top of the spout, so one's going to go there, and then that will stick to the other side as well, and the other one is just going to go anywhere along this portion here. We just want to put it about there really, and then we just want to stick the other sides of those tabs to the other side of the spout, and that makes your whole little spout for you. So if we stick this one first, you can sort of eyeball exactly where you put it on that one to get them to be symmetrical, and then the same there, and then you can just press it together and that is your spout. So we want to add some adhesive to the handle, so I'm going to use a little bit of 6mm red liner tape on the top one. Oh, there's a piece of backing stuck on there. And then I might as well use the 12mm on the bottom tab because it's bigger. Okay. Oh, and on this one, whoopsie, I just destroyed something else. On this pot, because on the teapot, this handle is sticking to the two slanted edges. That's how it's designed. You know, the score lines are at the slanted angles. But on this one, because I extended the side of it, this is now sticking on a flat side. So you can see there, I just experimented and scored it in a different place. So this is where the original score line is, but I just scored it like that so that it would stick to the flat edge. And I wasn't sure whether to try and cover this or not, but for those of you who've been watching the Great Pottery Throwdown, when they attach handles, like when they've made them by hand, they often like press their thumb into this to make a big blob of clay there. So I thought it kind of looks a little bit like that, so I just left it. But that's how you can get a handle to go on it if you've extended the length. So this should be dry by now, so we can just take the pegs off. You don't really need to peg it for that long, it's just so that it doesn't shift out of place whilst the glue's drying, really, because it's a nightmare when you come back to it and then like you've got a split like this, and yeah, it's just annoying to try and correct that if it dries wrong. So now you just got to pick which side you want to put your spout on, so any side really. Do I want to put it on one with the green or with the, I think I'm going to do it with the metallic. So you just want to take the tape off of there, and then you're literally just eyeballing it up and down, but then you also want to think about centering it this way in the panel as well, and it kind of just fits between the two roses and the rose design, and then you just want to press in between it and make sure it's really stuck. And then that is the spout on the teapot, and then obviously you want the handle to be directly opposite, so you just want to turn it to the opposite side and then take off the backing of the red liner tape. Oh my gosh. Like that. And then we want to stick this just here. And again, you want to try and sort of centre it as much as you can. I just think it looks nicer centred. You can do it off-centred if you want to. It just doesn't really matter. So I've kind of put that Nouveau drop there in the centre, so I can use that as a guide as well. And you just want to, when you're happy, just press them in place. And you can press both sides, and pressing from the inside too, to make sure it's nice and firmly stuck. And there you have it. You've got your little teapot. And this one I went really green with the colour scheme, but I had quite a lot of green cards, so I thought I'd go with green. And then you've got the matching little teacup as well. So I hope you enjoyed this construction video, and don't forget to watch the up close video because I'll also be showing you the cupcake die set in that as well. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again in the next video. Bye!